Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to St. Louis, the gateway to the West in the central heart of America. St. Louis has one of the highest crime rates in the United States of America and the highest murder rate in the country per capita. But despite these challenges, they still developed a small, loving, tight-knit community, and I want to discover what makes it so special.
I was telling him I don't mind.
My name is Abdullah Diba, and I have recently moved to St. Louis to serve as the new missionary at the Baitul Hafiz Mosque.
Praises be to God, Alhamdulillah. Praises be to God, Allah, the most gracious, ever merciful. Praises be to God, Allah, the most gracious, ever merciful. Praises be to God, Allah.
Join me on my journey to discover this city's fascinating history and how the Ahmadiyya Muslim community is benefiting the local area.
And today is saying the Jamaat has grown here and we see generations of Ahmadis. It's another fulfillment of the prophecy of the Prophet ﷺ.
The most gracious, ever merciful, praise be to God, Allah. The most gracious, ever merciful, praise be to God, Allah.
The Midwest is home to some of the oldest Jamaats in the United States of America, such as Chicago, Pittsburgh, Dayton, Ohio, and many others that have flourished over the decades. But the message of Islam Ahmadiyyat arrived in St. Louis much earlier, during the lifetime of the promised Messiah alayhi salam. I went to find out more at the exact location where the first Ahmadi Muslim convert in St. Louis used to live. The old houses have since been knocked down, but local Ahmadi, Ahmad Hadi Sahib, remembers the exact spot.
So it was right, because I used, when I cut the grass, it was on this side.
Tree line.
And I go over that side of it. Yeah.
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. A lot of people don't know, but Alexander Russell Webb Sahib, he actually visited India and tried to meet the Prophet ﷺ while he was there. But the Muslims at that time discouraged him from doing so. They made him think that he was claiming something new. But when he came back, he regretted it to a great degree, that he went all the way to India, to Lahore, and he never met the Prophet ﷺ. So later in his writings, he actually mentions that, how he regrets not making that effort. But he was in correspondence with the Prophet ﷺ through writing letters up to 1902. And Hazrat Mufti Muhammad Sadiq Sahib, who later came to the United States, of course, as a missionary, corresponded with him as well. And he gave him some names of people who had accepted Ahmadiyyat, and Mufti Sahib got in touch with them. So he was a very influential person, or a crucial person in the history of Ahmadiyyat, right here in St. Louis. For me, one of the most amazing things at that time, when the Prophet ﷺ, to be able to correspond with, as early as 1902, to be writing letters and corresponding with someone who converted to Ahmadiyyat here in St. Louis as the first Ahmadi Muslim, is pretty remarkable. And today it's saying the Jamaat has grown here and we see generations of Ahmadis. It's another fulfillment of the prophecy of the Prophet ﷺ.
Converts continued to join the Ahmadiyya Muslim community from the 1920s after the arrival of Hazrat Mufti Muhammad Sadiq Sahib radiallahu anhu, the first Ahmadi Muslim missionary sent to the United States.
My grandfather, Abdul Aziz, started studying Arabic, and that was his path to learn a language. He found Arabic and was studying Arabic, and he became a Muslim, a Sunni Muslim, in 1942. And through those studies led him to Ahmadiyya, and in 1944 is when he became an Ahmadi Muslim, and he gave up his slave name and became Abdullah Aziz.
Growing up Ahmadi was special because we had Arabic names in school. So, and with a name like Aziz, I was asked by so many teachers What nationality are you?
We used to get on the streetcars and ride all the way to the loop, turn around. That's when they had streetcars here in St. Louis, yeah.
Brother Ahmad Hadi is one of the oldest converts still living in St. Louis. He became an Ahmadi at just 15 years old, and I found out that his story to Islam actually began at a barbershop.
This was the Pyramid Barbershop. I used to see a sign painted on the window here stating, Jesus did not die on the cross.
Jesus did not die on the cross.
Jesus did not, was painted, you could see it so plain. I can see the cross still to the slant. My dad wanted to keep me out of the street, so I started shining shoes here. Steady going back to school, forth to school. And the name of my school was Riddick School. During the time that I was working Ibrahim Khalil, he used to, regardless of what, how many cousins do you have? The brother would always stop and say his prayers. I didn't know what he was doing. But one day, I said, I'm gonna see what he's doing back.
Right.
He stayed for a while. Alhamdulillah, he was saying his prayers, saying this a lot.
Right.
And ever since then, I knew. But later on, they started talking to me, Brother Munir, Ibrahim Khalil. At the age of 15, Brother Munir went and spoke to my parents, asked them, was it all right if they continued to teach him? They agreed, my mom and dad agreed. I accepted Islam.
What year was that?
1956.
1956. Wow.
Yes.
Alhamdulillah.
From the 50s, pioneer members Ibrahim Khalil and Munir Ahmad were hugely influential in preaching Islam Ahmadiyyat in St. Louis, predominantly while working at the Pyramid Barbershop.
By the time I was 3, my father had studied barbering, and he had did an internship under a Muslim barbershop called Pyramid Barbershop under Ibrahim Khalil.
So I walk into this barbershop. I remember seeing this beautiful calendar on the wall. It had the promised Messiah, alayhi salam, in the middle, and the third Khalifa on the right, and I believe it was Mirza Bashiruddin Mahmud Ahmad radiallahu anhu on the left. But what got me was the promised Messiah, the way he was staring right at me. It's like as though he could see me and I could see him. And I said to the brother, I said, who is that man? And the brother said, he's the promised Messiah. And at that time, I said to him, the promised Messiah. I kind of laughed. I said, like, what do you mean, like Jesus? And he said, yeah, he's the second coming.
We had various meeting places, and including a hotel, a storefront, people's homes, and I had a chance to witness Islam through our jalsas. We used to call them conventions at that time.
And you guys know who this is?
Yeah, that's
Rashida. Yeah, that's in front of Mom and Dad's house. And of course that sports car didn't belong to either one of them. I think it was Brother Saadet's. Other than African Americans, we started seeing immigrants coming in to the United States and into St. Louis as well. And we're all just connecting. You know, we're getting together, we're eating, the kids are playing, events that go on, field trips, Eids, so forth and so on.
This connection is something I'm starting to experience myself. There is an amazing bond between the members that is pretty contagious. I wanted to meet some of the local families to see what the St. Louis experience has been like for them. First, we're heading out to meet Dr. Basir Rodney, who migrated to America from Jamaica and now lives in St. Louis with his wife and his 2 youngest children.
Assalamu
alaikum. How you doing, now?
So I always talk about like just connecting with the members, and the families were just so really loving and kind. I would always go over to Sister Ali. I invited myself to to the members' houses in the first couple of years. Like, look, I'm coming to your, and they were fine. They're like, sure, come over. They had this big spread. We ate, we hung out. So alhamdulillah, the Jamaat is just really a loving Jamaat in that way, and just really just kind of subsumed me.
I remember coming and just seeing that generational presence of Ahmadiyya in the lives of the families here. I'm thinking of the Azizes, I'm thinking of Brother Munir's family, the Ahmeds. Like, you not only saw the people who converted initially, but you saw their children and you saw their grandchildren together in the masjid.
You definitely have this like strong influence of like this Midwestern warmth. I think like it's a mix of like a little bit of Southern hospitality, but with this genuine warmth, and but we have always been like a family.
St. Louis has such a rich family tradition when it comes to our community, dating all the way back to the beginning. You know, before my memory started, we have such a rich tradition of families. The Ahmed family with both Munir Ahmed, the Khalid family, who all have now great-grandchildren who are a part of this community. So it's really a blessing.
To maintain it, my parents always kind of raised us with this kind of like that the beauty of Islam is the middle path. You know, that extremism one way or the other is wrong. And that includes in how we treat each other, right? So if you're the person to say, well, you're not practicing this way and your Ahmadiyya should look like this and your deen should look like this, then you're also just as wrong. And so I think we've maintained being Ahmadiyya and the beauty of Islam within our family, understanding that.
That's how I have my idea of family now. It has to be close-knit for me. You know, we all have our problems, but we got to come back together. And it is from Islam, I believe, because without that core root for us, where else would it come from?
It's important to, you know, take that time out, especially on Fridays, especially on Sundays, to, hey, let's go. And especially when they get done with school on Sundays at the mosque, like I immediately ask them, hey, what y'all learned today? And immediately my daughter immediately will go to the book and say, my son, he's hesitant, but you know, once his mama asks, he'll get to it though. But you know, it's refreshing to know that they learn something too, and even teach me, who is new, it helped me learn something too. So yeah, it's nice.
Sister Saida Aziz loves raising her family in St. Louis, and she's also a local business owner, currently running Pharaoh's Donuts, which was originally started by her father, Aman Aziz, in 1994.
My kids, the next generation, has something to hold on to that their grandfather gave to them. And going back to being a black family, it's hard to get those things, and my dad created it. So I'm gonna make sure, inshallah, that I keep that going. So we got the best glazed donut in the city of St. Louis. There's no beating that. You know, we got awards for the best glazed donut. And it gives me so much joy and a feel of accomplishment because I am running it now, but to think of my dad's hard work, you know what I'm saying? Because if it wasn't for him and his forethought, we wouldn't be here. So it's beautiful, and it just makes me happy, and it brings tears most of the time. So to the top, inshallah.
Get the camera. Look, he's dropping Tell old Pharaoh, let my donuts go.
That's his donut.
This was one of 3 locations, and this is now center downtown St. Louis. So yeah, it's really a good spot.
Time to head out across town and meet Ismail Latif and his family. His father, Munir Ahmed, was a pioneer of St. Louis and diligently served for many years as president of the local chapter. I wanted to learn how Ismail Sahib and his wife, Aisha Sahiba, had kept their children attached to Islam Ahmadiyyat.
So if you ground your kids in the faith, okay, and they sometimes, you know, growing up in the West, okay, you can lose your way. But we always felt that if you were grounded enough, you will always find your way back.
These three are kind of in tandem. They're all for the science fair. I run first place in the regionals. This is a special, if you can see it, it's a special award that I got from earning the American Institute of Aeronautics and Astronauts. I got a scholarship from them.
I told them there is no Ghana Islam and American Islam or Indian Islam. It's one, wherever you go. The principles are one. There is no American way. And there is no Ghana way. It's one Ahmadiyya and one Islam and one promised Messiah. I said, that's it.
I caught up with Sister Aisha's son, Manaj, during one of his regular boxing training sessions. The discipline and self-improvement he learns in the gym links directly to the discipline required as a Muslim.
So whatever dream, affirmation, goal that I have, if I don't have the discipline to move forth with it, it's just a dream. I can't make it become a reality. So that's why I'm putting in the work day in and day out constantly, because I want to put forth and get what I know I can get from it since I'm putting in that work. And you can kind of tie that in with Islam as well, trying to basically stay tuned to the deen, because not everybody is perfect, you know. Let's say this is the line, you can veer here, you can veer there, but as long as you're coming back to the center line, okay. Because it's the effort that counts, it's the idea that counts, it's the intention that counts.
La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. Revive the religion, revive the religion of Islam. The religion of Islam. Love for all and hatred for none. 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 Revive the religion. Revive the religion. The religion of Islam.
When I joined Jamaat Ahmadiyya, it was really a kind of resonance, right? That you were doing the right thing, you're in the right place, because service is so much of a big part of who we are, right? Mm-hmm. The service towards mankind is a big part of our identity as Ahmadis. So I came here with the intention to really serve. So it just turned out that St. Louis was in the middle of building the mosque, and I kind of became really active in the community around the building because the mosque was being built there. Everybody said, you know, we're building a mosque in this area, so we should be serving the people and serving the community. And I said, well, then certainly we should facilitate that somehow.
What we will be doing, inshallah, every Friday after Juma, they will be delivering fresh vegetables for the members and for our community. Alhamdulillah. So the first one we had was last week, so we will be, inshallah, continuing until whatever they stop. So this is a blessing for the members. And we did very good last week. Alhamdulillah, hopefully that we'll do the same. So here we go. Him coming out of that.
Okay. This new initiative we started helps us serve the basic ingredients of a healthy diet, namely fresh fruit and vegetables, to those in need in our community, something that most of us take for granted.
Brother Basir Rodney, he himself moved very close to the mosque, walking distance, and all the neighbors know him very intimately, his family, his children, and he's done some very exciting projects as far as the mosque neighborhood is concerned. So inshallah we'll go there and get to have a conversation with him and the things he's been doing.
I caught up with Dr. Basir as he was visiting his old neighbor, Miss Doris. I had heard about a community gardening project called the Sadiq Garden and was intrigued to find out more.
Sadiq Garden was really born out of a desire that Sister Karima had. She wanted to have a garden primarily for the children, because she likes to garden too, so she wanted to do a garden where the kids could learn to do things, especially in the summer. So she had all kinds of plans around that. And she talked a couple of us in the mosque into it. And so we had the lot because that's where we were originally thinking the mosque was going to be.
That lot was originally purchased for the mosque. So we said, well, since we didn't put the mosque there and the lot's available, let's just use it for gardening. So we started to do that, and then Sister Karima kind of met everybody. Again, my mom met Miss Doris. There's another lady, Miss Teresa, on another block that way, and they just kind of started engaging around gardening.
And so we got a lot of the kids in the neighborhood that came, and a lot of them, a couple of them, as a matter of fact, have graduated, and they were asking me the other day, what are we going to do about the garden? And I thought that was just, you know, really cute, because they enjoy doing it. They enjoy learning how to grow food. Those are collard greens. These are Brussels sprouts and broccoli.
Ms. Doris is passionate about nurturing her plants, but she enjoys nurturing love in the community just as much.
The mosque that's my family too. I always feel welcome there, always. They've always made me feel welcome. That mosque is like a saving place for a whole lot of people in this community, you know, whether they go there or not. They know they can go there and get help, you know, so it's a big deal. I've been here 17 years, and that mosque has done more for the community than any of the churches that I've seen.
Yeah. Okay, y'all have a good one.
You too. Thank you, sir. So I started my own little garden out here in the back. So in here I've planted okra and spinach. So that has just started to grow. And back here, you can see I have tomatoes and onions. So alhamdulillah, I made all of these myself. You know, I got some wooden planks and put them together. Alhamdulillah.
I appreciate you guys doing what you do for me with the fruits that you bring me and stuff like that, man.
You know, man, it's all love.
I'm a Christian, okay, but I'll tell you this. I love being in the presence of good Muslims, you know, because I run from a poor Christian.
We appreciate you, sir. You take care. I'll come over. I'll come over and shoot chicken. For sure. Thank you. Thank you. Man, you brought us some fresh eggs, huh?
We've spoken about the spiritual seeds of the Jamaat that were planted here 100 years ago, and how pioneer members became the roots, providing a strong foundation. Now that Ahmadiyyat has flourished from these seeds into a mighty tree in St. Louis, it's only natural that locals would come and take shelter under its spiritual shade.
What made sense to me was that what I read in the pamphlet, and they had also given me a book, The Philosophy of the Teachings of Islam. What made it stand out to me was that the Promised Messiah, Islam, how is it that he was receiving this information?
Brother Abdul Hakim Shahid Sahib has been an Ahmadi since the 1970s, and he takes an active role in the local Jamaat activities.
The other thing was that when I read his book, and I said this earlier, is that he talked about the 3 stages of man. That's what grabbed me. And that, to me, it grabbed me in the sense that made me realize, you know, when he talked about the natural state, the moral state, and the physical state, I was like, what state am I in? And I questioned that. And so I said, if a man can explain this, God must be giving him something. So that, to me, what made Ahmadiyyat stand out. Because of the philosophy, because of the very nature of that teaching me about my natural self, it made me realize that I'd never learned it in Moorish science. I didn't learn it in Christianity, but I learned it in Ahmadiyyat in Islam.
I met some Ahmadis, and they told me about Jesus Christ. And that rang true to my heart when I heard it. And because of that, we pursued the information that was given us. We went to the mosque and asked questions, and they were answered sufficiently, and we signed by it. And my journey began from there.
All right, I accepted Ahmadiyya Muslim Community in 2018, November 17th. The reason why I accepted it, because I was looking for the true essence of Islam.
Brother Yasin's story is an example of a complete life transformation through accepting Islam Ahmadiyyat. Having grown up in the gangs in North St. Louis, all he had ever been taught was how to hate.
We really was taught to hate, like the guys from the next street over, guys on the stop sign, the corner. I mean, you couldn't even go on the next street without, you know, getting into it or whatever. So that alone, it brightened my faith also. That it started teaching me to love all and hate none. And when we was the total opposite. We had a saying that was love by few, hated by many, but respected by all. So how we was taught is if you didn't respect us, we would make you respect us.
This life unfortunately led him to prison. But despite being at the lowest point in his life, Allah Almighty started drawing his attention to Ahmadiyyat in miraculous ways.
At that time, I was a proclaiming member of the Nation of Islam. And I researched and I Googled, and in that result, it was this local masjid right here, Batu Hafiz. I called the brothers and asked about it. They invited me to coffee and cake. And when I came, I started seeing the Khalifa and the Messiah, alayhi salam, and I had dreams. I was dreaming. I had a lot of dreams about the current and the fourth Khalifa. So when I seen the pictures, when I came to this masjid, it blew my mind. So now I knew who I was seeing in my dreams. And I just knew that Allah had guided me to the right way.
And next thing you know, when my husband signed Bayat, I seen the change in him and the different, how he was growing and how God was working on him. And I was like, I got to get with the program. I got to get with this too, because and I see how God working on him, and I know he gonna help me. And when I entered this building, I felt all the love, like unconditional, like what you would get from your parents.
Next, I spoke to Khairul Bariya Hughes, who converted to Islam Ahmadiyya 13 years ago and has had the opportunity to attend the International Jalsa Salana in the UK.
For sure, with Hazur being there and Hazur giving opening address, closing address, it was very special being there with Hazur. There was times where I felt Hazur as a father was just explaining Holy Quran to us, and it was second day of the program. So it was going into like 3 hours, the 2019 UK Jalsa, and I'm still enamored because I could see the significance of Hazur explaining Holy Quran to us. It was beautiful, very beautiful, mashallah. I tell you, I didn't see the change myself. The fascinating thing about the change is other people saw it. And so my family were the first to see it. And they'll tell you even now, hey, Islam made me a better person. Like they said, now that you're talking about God, they even said you're talking about the Messiah has come, that's different, now.
Just recently, 2 twin brothers spontaneously walked up to our mosque to learn about Islam. And mashallah, they're progressing on their journey day by day. They told me there's something they experience here that they've never felt before.
Being around their brothers, it made me feel good. Like it made me feel welcome. Because me personally, I got for the past years, I've never been around people that was loving and that was polite to me. So that's why I love coming to the mosque. I see myself change. I don't have that brotherhood that I have here. Because when I leave, then I feel myself starting to get misguided and stuff. So I have to come back, seek knowledge, and get the wisdom from my brother Imam. And it was a lot of love and this feeling that I've never felt in my whole life, which that really changed the way how I view the world.
This is Noah's Ark, and it's right here before everyone. Just like the story of Noah, you know, people passed by and made fun of Noah all day. But his sincerity and his dedication towards Allah, the same way this mosque gives us. You know, hey, if they walk past, then they walk past. But we have to get this ship filled. We have to get the boat filled. And I believe we'll get that done, mashallah.
غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين.
It's been an amazing experience, you know. For me as a missionary, I needed this. You know, as a missionary, is the stuff that people see on a day-to-day basis, but it's also the people that you get to meet. It's so faith-inspiring for me personally. And I've learned so much about all these different families, these different individuals, their experiences. It's laying the foundation for me to make my work much more easier. You know, I went to just the Hafiz family, Hafiz Nasiruddin's house family, talking to his grandchildren, his children, his in-laws, all being together in one household. And we're going through so much of history and seeing the fruits right there, you know, of all those generations. It's amazing. The Aziz family, 5 generations, and seeing every step of it. It's just, you don't get to see that on a day-to-day basis. So the journey through this whole program has been so faith-inspiring for me, and I'm learning a lot. You know, alhamdulillah, I'm learning a lot. Yeah.
Being a part of this documentary, and so getting a chance to see brothers and sisters come out and participate and you know, kind of revitalizes our mission for sure, absolutely, I agree.
In the centenary of 2020, one thing that Huzur highlighted was go and get the families of the pioneers and bring them back into the Jamaat. So for me, this is another fulfillment of that wish and desire of Hazrat Khalifatul Masih, going to these homes and talking and tracing the families, the lineages, the converts, you know, the people that are still considering Ahmadiyya, just seeing that in action, it's just amazing. And giving us also homework to say, don't let anyone drift away at any point. What do you need to do as a missionary to make sure, like a Jamaat like St. Louis has a lot of that, you know, a lot of those families. So my next few years, I'm really looking to make that my, it's like the foundation. It's a track that I have to kind of follow to trace everyone and be a part of that, praying with them and bringing them together, inshallah.
Thank you, Allah, for the Khilafat. As I come to the end of my journey, one common theme that has emerged is just how powerful the institution of Khilafat is to unite a global community spanning all continents, colors, and cultures.
To meet the Khalifa of the time is a life-changing event. It changes your life. And you say, man, I'll walk through fire for this man. You know?
The blessings of Khilafat is unity, being unified together under a single banner, a single leader who is rightly guided, who has accepted the Imam of the age, in spite of the struggle and the persecution, and to see the community flourish.
Because there are so many pitfalls that are waiting if you don't have that rope of Allah to help you and to pull you forward. So my advice is to hold fast to the rope of Allah and be not divided, as Allah says in Quran.
You can look around the world and show me someone who's guiding the people with spirit. Everyone is guiding someone by their own desire. But yet we have Khalifa. And Khalifa is showing us that road straight to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
God has placed somebody here who's supposed to be able to put their politics aside, put their personal opinions aside, and lead you to the path and help guide you on something that we all can refer back to, something that we all can read, something that we all can question and learn together. And he's accessible, you know, and I think that's the other part, knowing that you can meet him, knowing that it's not a one-off that somebody has a picture with them in their house. You know, for me, that is still beautiful.
To be under Huzur, to serve for Huzur, to protect Huzur, it's, you know, I couldn't believe I was actually doing it, you know. It was a very blessed thing that could have happened for me. Oh man, it was amazing.
Salamu, 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 salamu alaikum ya Jamaat, salamu alaikum ya Jamaat, assalamu alaikum.
As I settle down into my new posting, it is my honor and privilege to serve in a Jamaat that continues to inspire me daily. From the pioneer members to the new converts, by the grace of Allah, the light of Islam is shining bright in this community. It's true what they say. There's something very special about St. Louis.
If you do come here, you're going to feel like you've always been here. That's the way St. Louis makes you feel. It's a place, if you were here and you leave here, you know what you missed, and you want to come back here.
I believe we have a strong presence in the community, but it can be stronger. And we can, I really want to show the face of Ahmadiyya, put a flag of Ahmadiyya out there for the world can see that, once again, this is Noah's Ark.
We're building our own capacity, and so I see that possibility of the future, and I'm hopeful that we can kind of keep driving for it, So it's pretty awesome to be here, just being a part of that.
So with strong brotherhood and sisterhood, may Allah allow us to actually bring that into its proper fruition and proper understanding and proper meaning and practice it correctly.
Salamu, 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 salamu alaikum ya Jamaat, salamu alaikum ya Jamaat.